Let it go 얼어붙어 like wow 띵하고 어지러워 I see 한여름에도 넌 겨울 Yeah, girl, cold-blooded Yeah, 너와 있을 때 I swear 제가 온도 zero 폭설한 그 children 꿈에도 I wasn't aware 나만 빼고 넌 모두에게 참 친절해 배신감이 들어 단판이 태도 머릿속을 흔드니 ibuprofen 그만해 it's time to stop 승부욕을 자극하는 style yeah. 알면서도 마음이 자꾸 내게 가 아마 빠져버릴까 If you want me back I'll tell you I'm sorry If you want me back I'll tell you stop trying Yeah, you got me Let it go 얼어붙어 like wow 띵하고 어지러워 I see 한여름에도 넌 겨울 Yeah, girl you cold-blooded Yeah, girl you cold-blooded I'm like frozen 뭐야 모든 스트레스는 gotta let it go 했어 소개팅 데이팅 어플 다 깔아도 보았어 반대가 끌린대 ever since the track Don't know about me and you yeah we fell into the cracks Yeah 갖고 너네 no cap 왜 난 안 보여 what's happening 객관적일 수가 없이 이미 game white flag and waving fast Yeah I'm leaving back but 말해도 너만 보면 나도 내 맘 I don't know 이건 love a relationship 헷갈리기만 해 girl I'll tell you I'm sorry If you want me back I'll tell you stop trying Yeah, you got me Let it go 얼어붙어 like wow 띵하고 어지러워 I see 한여름에도 넌 겨울 Girl you cold-blooded Let it go 얼어붙어 like wow 띵하고 어지러워 I see 한여름에도 넌 겨울 Yeah, girl you cold-blooded Yeah, girl you cold-blooded Yeah Girl you cold-blooded Girl you cold-blooded Yeah, girl you cold-blooded Yeah Girl you cold-blooded Girl you cold-blooded
Ladies and gentlemen, how are you? Welcome to another edition of Sir Hale Speaks in the Building. And good evening, good to see you guys tonight. I'm glad that you guys are here. What is going on? I want to show some love to the good people of the chat because we are going to have a fantastic show. And listen, I recommend this show for anyone who's married, anybody who wants to be married. And I recommend this for parents as well because some of the stuff that I'm going to be touching on tonight is going to be some profound stuff that I honestly believe if applied, can save some marriages. The things that I'm going to be sharing with you tonight, I think that it could heal some families if we can be honest and if we can really talk and really dig into these things tonight. But before we get into this, if you guys are in here watching, do me a favor, hit that like button, and in the comments section, let me know where you're listening from. I want to see what states we have represented in the chat tonight. All right, hit that like button and then comment, let me know where you're listening from. All right, salute to Red Lipstick Vibes in the building. Good to see you tonight. What is going on with you? Good to see you tonight. Always glad to see you. Always glad that you're here. To the one of the only I Excel. What's going on with you? Good to see you. A member of the channel. Glad to see you. To the one of the only Lady Hale. What's going on with you, baby? What's going on with you? Good to see you tonight. Glad that you were here. Bravo with Sheeta. Ladies, let's chat. How are you? Thanks for being here tonight. Glad to see you. I see Kiara, the one of the only Kiki, is in the building, and she's all the way from Chi-Town. She's in the building. Good to see you tonight. Okay, guys. I got a cough drop. I got a little the air hitting the back of my tonsils and making me cough a bit. But listen, we're gonna have a really good show tonight. So listen, do me a favor. If you haven't hit that like button, hit that like button. And if you haven't hit that subscribe button, hit that subscribe button. Let's get into this, y'all. Let's get into this subject tonight. So this last year, as we wrap up 2022, and we are looking forward to a very prosperous, to a very busy 2023, I thought it important to to discuss some things at a deeper level than what we talk about, what we've talked about before in terms of relationships. Now, all this stuff we have has some depth to it, but I wanted to really, really drill into some things that I think are a cause to a problem that I see so often. But before we get to this, I see Chicago, I see Texas, I see St. Louis. Let me ask you guys a question before I get into this. Did anybody get a chance to see Best Man final chapters over the holiday weekend? If anybody got a chance to see the Best Man final chapters, let me know what you guys thought about. Let me know what you guys thought about that particular series. I'm curious to see what everybody else thought about it. I thought it was pretty good, and I'm thinking of doing a couple of shows based off of some of the storylines. But did anybody see this? Lady Hale, yes, she said she saw it. Okay, yeah, Carrie, yeah, absolutely. Okay, what do you guys think about it? Would you guys think it was pretty good? Had you seen the movies before? What were your thoughts about Best Man? I really want to. She says, I think it was amazing. Okay. Shout out to Lady Devoy. Good to see you tonight. Glad that you are here. Yeah, I think there's some. I think there's a lot of different things that we can extrapolate from that series. I think there's a lot, and I think I'm going to break some of the things down in the coming year. So you guys stay tuned for that. Okay. All right. Good. Lady Devoy says she'll watch it tonight. Excellent. Okay, guys, let's get into this. What are we talking about tonight? We're talking about if you had to survive your father or your mother, you are probably bad at relationships. That's what we're talking about tonight. If you had to survive your mother or your father, chances are you are bad at relationships. And there's some reasons for this. So this year, I spent most of my time talking about relationships between men and women, women who want to be wives, wives who, are wives and their marriage is on the rocks, and for men who are productive, successful, who want to find great wives. So I've talked a lot about this, and we've talked from the perspective about what the man needs to do and what the woman needs to do and all the issues in between. But as I observe, now this is not scholastic, this is not yet scientific. Give me a little bit of time and I'll have some more research to this. But I wanted to talk about something that I see very often. Oh, there we go. That fade. There we go. Oh, so I'm cooking now. I'm cooking. I wanted to discuss something that I see. And it pertains to people who are of the age between 30 and 50. So somewhere in there. That a lot of people who are in this particular age group can't really sustain long-lasting relationships. They just can't do it. They can't seem to sustain long-lasting relationships. And when I first, I've been talking about relationships for I'm 35, so give me about 15 years. And in observing and in counseling and in talking at churches and in schools and different venues, I noticed a thing. I noticed a thing that I think is important. And when I talk to a lot of these individuals and I peel back some of the layers of the issues we see, most of the time it goes back to something that they observed growing up in their own households. And I've noticed that what appears to be irreconcilable differences is just unspoken truths. The truth about what the other person is experiencing, and then having the other person to willingly want to hear what's going on and then have the heart to want to help solve it. What I've noticed is that people between the ages of 30 and 50, some in there, they don't have any problem with saying to hell with this relationship. I don't care about this family. The kids, F them kids, they're going to be fine. We're going to survive. I got to be happy. You guys saw what Tia Mowry says. The whole caption is my turn. You guys saw this. And I'm noticing a commonality. And I want to discuss this tonight because it is my hope. It is. I want to see some of you who are getting ready to break up your relationship, or those of you who don't believe that you can find someone because either what you've experienced won't let you trust. And some of you women just don't have a good example on what it takes to be a good wife. I want to help because I think a lot of people are taking in unresolved issues from their own upbringing They're taking those things into their relationships, and they're projecting the anger that was caused at home that they couldn't speak about, and they're wreaking havoc in their relationships. I think this is one of the premier things that I see going on here. And there were people who've gotten divorced, and 10 years later, looking back in retrospect after getting some therapy, saw how they could have made it work. That the things that they thought was divorceable, that the marriage could not work because of the stress of the moment, could have resolved it. But because of displaced hostility and displaced anger, we treat the person who is close to us that we don't have a particular need of, like we have the maternal or the paternal need, and we take the hostility of our upbringing and we project it on the person that we're with. Worse yet is a lot of times people will get a carbon copy of what they saw growing up because they're familiar with it, and what they couldn't say to their mother or their father, they don't mind saying that to their spouse. Now, I want to make this very clear because I think this is important. I think this is important. Salute to you, Empress. Good to see you tonight. Thanks for being here. I think this is important for everybody to hear this. Before you decide to get married, if you have issues with your mother, if you have issues with your father, and it's in your heart, I recommend you not get married until you get that part of your life resolved. It doesn't mean that the relationship is going to be salvaged or that it's going to go back to what you think it could be. Maybe your parents have passed away and that it's no longer possible. But if you don't resolve that issue early, I'm telling you, you're going to take that baggage and you're going to create a messy situation in your marriage. So let me tell you what happens. So let me give you an example. So daughter grows up in a single mother household, and she sees men running in and out the house. Can't ever keep a relationship. Mother tells her, you don't trust no dude, you don't trust no man, you go get a degree, you go make your own money, don't rely on no man, you can't trust these dogs. These Negroes, they lie, they gonna pretend, all of them gonna cheat. And she sees her mother struggling and see the pain that her mother is dealing with, and so she absorbs the pain. But that mindset that the mother has, that daughter now takes on that particular mindset. And she's upset with men that she's never dealt with. She's upset with all men. All men are going to lie. All men are going. She takes all of these sayings that her mother has spoken to her, and she projects that in all of her relationships. And then she wonders why none of them will work. Well, she went in believing what she had been heard. She never asked her question, Mom, why were you with so many men? Mom, how come you didn't decide to slow it down? Mom, how come you didn't make better decisions? No, all she heard was the results of the decision, never questioning the actual decisions. Same thing it is with fathers. Man grows up with a father who's violent, grows up with a father who's cold, who's a bit calloused and a bit, distant. He takes that mentality. He doesn't know how to speak his emotions. He doesn't know how to speak and let people know what he's dealing with. So he internalizes everything that's going on with him. He bottles it up. Now he's dying inside. He's wounded inside. He's bleeding inside. But because this is the template he's learned, this is his coping mechanism for everything he deals with. Even though there are people around who tell him, you can talk to me, you can open up, he doesn't know how to because he doesn't trust, because his primary example of how to communicate and to explicate the issues of the heart, his father was calloused. Well, that's his template now. So he gets married to somebody and he takes that template that he learned from his father, and now he gives his wife a level of coldness. Now he wants to let her in, but the fear of letting her in rivals what he saw growing up. If you guys grew up with two parents in the household and they were always arguing back and forth, always angry, always hostile, mama's mean, mama's judgmental, mama's moody, mama never seems to be happy when dad is around, except for when they at church, when it's company. Daddy's never happy. He ain't happy to see his wife. You guys see enough of those images and you assume that that's how marriage is. You see toxicity long enough, that's just how it is. And what we do is we take the damage and the baggage of what we saw early on, and by the time we meet the love of our lives, because we have all this unresolved stuff, we project the animosity, the vitriol, the acidity, the pain, the hurt, the anger. We project all of the stuff that we could not say to our mamas and daddies because it's Black folks. You just shut up, you be quiet, you do what you're told, honor thy mother and thy father. As a matter of fact, let me not even put race on this, because the more I talk to people, I counsel with somebody who's of a completely different race than I am, and it's very similar. Is you shut up, you be quiet, do as you're told. I'm the mama, I'm the daddy. And so they shut you down from asking questions, which means they're also shutting themselves off from accountability. And because we were not able to answer questions and see that, all that stuff that we had to take from mama and daddy, shut your mouth, be quiet. You living up under my roof. It is my rules. Don't ask me no questions. Who do you think you are? Oh, you want to be grown? You go pay your own bills, pay your own rent. When you're not really trying to challenge the authority of your parents, you're simply trying to get context to navigate this emotional web that you see between your mother and your father. Right? You come on, chat. You guys talk to me. Am I talking to you guys tonight? You guys get me? Good to see you guys. If you guys are in here, let me know. Y'all talk back to me in the chat. But this is typically what you see. So if mother shut you down and she gaslighted you and she manipulated you to get you, out of asking her questions that hold her accountable, and instead she just told you all of the sad stories, or father did the same thing, and they shut you down, and it creates an anger in you, guess what you're going to do, whether you want to or not? And if you don't get therapy, this is what you're going to do. You're going to meet a nice young man, you're going to meet a nice young woman, and you guys are going to have something going on. It's going to be good for them. It's going to be good for them. You guys are going to get along. You guys are going to have some similarities, some shared experiences, and things are going to go well. But here's where the relationship is at risk. You never saw how to get through difficult times. And that's where so many people today are in relationship, because they hit a normal, difficult time. And because they have no context for getting through this, either they cheat, they become completely closed off, they shut down because they don't know how to navigate the natural adversity that comes in any marriage and relationship. Does this make sense? And this is where I see so many people between 30, 40, and 50. They never knew how to get through difficult times. It's what I want. It's what I say. It's how I feel. And the interesting thing is this. We never get a chance to address the pains we have from our parents, because that's completely shut down. And we take that aggression and that anger that we wish we could say to our parents, and we go say that to our spouse. So instead of us saying, when we go through a difficult time with the person that we're married to, instead of us sitting down saying, listen, this is a difficult time, let's find a way to get through this, we simply say, to hell with this. I'll be danged if I'm gonna deal with this with you. I will find somebody else. I will replace you. I'm not about to waste my time on this. But you're not saying this because the person you're with isn't worth you going through the difficult time. You're saying this because deep down inside, you're making the person you're with pay for something that your parents did. I want this to sit in your spirit. I want this to get in your heart. I want this to get in your head, because too many of us are walking around making people pay for stuff that they did not do. And anytime they do anything that's a remote reflection of something that we dealt with in our own life, a trigger, we make them pay for something that they did not do. And as soon as we feel triggered, as soon as that hurt we feel that hurt, as soon as it stings a little bit and it resembles what we went through, we'll shut it all down. It doesn't matter if we got kids together. It doesn't matter if we got to move from a different state and pull kids out of their whole environment. Doesn't matter if we have to pull them out of school, change their context. We don't care, because what you not finna do, we're not saying this, but what you not finna do is take me back to a place when I was shut down. And so we take the pains that were inflicted in our own households and we destroy our own homes. And instead of us having the audacity to at least be honest with our parents. We try to fix with our parents who shut us down when it's so easy for us to dismiss the people we made vows to. I want you guys to hear this. And this is not to say that every marriage is going to be a long-lasting marriage. Sometimes it just doesn't work out because of various reasons. But I'm talking about the marriages that can survive. A lot of you have been wounded and emotionally scarred by your parents, and you can't talk to them about that. But you give them chance after chance to keep on inflicting harm to you. And the moment there's a misunderstanding between your spouse, you're ready to throw it. You're ready to throw the marriage away. As soon as there's a difficult time, you're ready to throw it away. The patience you have with your parents is the patience you were supposed to have with your spouse. The long suffering you have with your parents is what you were supposed to have with your spouse. But because so many of us, we give our parents the love and the attentiveness and the faithfulness that we should be giving our spouse, everything is out of order. And we're going to have to find a way to bring back balance. When you get in a relationship with somebody, it's no longer you, your mama, and your daddy. It's about you and the person you're building a life with. And any parent who isn't pushing you to become one and to be strong and to build a life for yourself, these are people who are going to help rip your marriage apart. Is that making sense? Y'all talk to me. I know this is a little bit different. I ain't got as many jokes today as I normally would, but I think this is important because people are ending marriages for things that could be fixed. And it's not just the marriages that are disintegrating, it's the kids that are suffering. We keep on getting divorced, and then we wonder why kids are having emotional outbursts. They're not doing well in school. They're underperforming in the basic things in life. Is because too many men and too many women are airheads and they don't know how to get through adversity. And I know I'm not supposed to say this, but I'm going to say it. Some of you, in order for your marriage to work, you're going to have to divorce your mother and your father. You're in a marriage with your parents. Your heart is completely invested in all the stuff going on because deep down, you're still trying to win their approval and you're still trying to win their love. And because you're in the process of winning them, you're losing the person who was supposed to be by your side. So some of you in 2023, it doesn't mean that you can't love your parents. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying the relationship you have with them is unhealthy and it's costing you your relationships in other areas of your life. It's amazing. Like we raise our kids to stay when the goal was to raise your kids to go leave. Like I have 4 kids. I want my kids to love myself and their mother for the rest of their life. But I want them to go be successful and build their own lives and be successful in their own marriages and with their own kids. And they can't do this if I have them on a string, on an emotional, psychological, spiritual, financial string, pulling them in, keeping them reeled into my stuff so much so that they can't focus on building their own stuff. This is why some of you who are in your 30s, 40s, and 50s, you can't sustain a relationship because you're making your particular spouse, your particular person pay for something that your parents did to you. And until you say enough is enough, I am not going to keep this cycle going. You're going to have 1 marriage, 2 marriages, 3 marriages, 4 marriages, 1 relationship, 2 relationships, 5 relationships, 10 relationships, always changing faces, still getting the same person because you have not gone to the root of your issue, which is where you come from. You're making everybody else pay for stuff that they didn't do to you. This is why relationships, in my humble opinion. Now, give me a little bit, and I'm going to give you guys some statistics on this, but this is just something I'm hypothesizing, and I wanted to share this with you to get your thoughts. I believe that this is why so many relationships don't work. is because we are unhealed from our parents, and we take the scars that were inflicted in our upbringing, and we wreak havoc and make the people who have committed to loving us pay for what they didn't do to us. What do you guys think about this? Take Heed says true talk. Same. I turn on the TV on that part and it's everywhere. Speak. I want to see people in productive marriages. And ladies, if you have an issue with your mama, what you can't say to your mom, mama, you hurt me. Mama, this, you made me sad. You made me feel unloved. You made me feel unseen. You made me feel unappreciated. If you don't address that with your mother and at least be able to get it out honestly, when you go through a difficult time in your marriage with your husband and you feel unheard and you feel unappreciated and you feel unseen, all the stuff you couldn't say to mom, you're going to say to your husband. You hear what I'm saying? Some of you have done that actually. What you felt early on, you made a statement later on in your marriage. And you have to have the strength and courage to be honest with the source, and don't make somebody else pay the penalty for something that they didn't do to you. Okay? The same thing with you, with my brothers. If you don't heal from what mom and dad did to you, you're going to take that grief, and you might stay married. You might even love the woman that you're with, but she'll never get your best because you're always playing defense from what you are assuming is going to happen. Now, the truth to this part is there are simply a lot of women who don't know how to love. A lot of women, to me, don't know how to love until they get their heart broken and until they look start to fade. I just most women don't know how to be mature and to give their best at their best. They wait till they got to. But that's a different story. And that's not what I'm focused on tonight. But it's the same thing with my brothers. If you don't heal from that, your wife will get the battered version of you and never get the healed version of you, because you've closed down and you've accepted the grief from your upbringing, and she alone never gets the best of you because you yourself aren't healed. And this is why we're not blaming our parents. I want to make this crystal clear. We're not blaming parents, but it's time for us as people to be able to call out the issues and say what it is, to admit what happened, instead of us just saying, get over it. You 32 now. What you gonna do? Go to therapy. What good is therapy if I got to keep on being reminded of what I dealt with and I'm still being hurt? Not only do I need to go to therapy, but I've got to change some things too. And if you can't be honest with them, you for darn sure got to be honest with yourself. You can't let people tell you you're not supposed to hurt because they don't think you should. You can't let people tell you that you're not supposed to be in pain because they don't think you have any. And too many of us have done that. We hear, well, I didn't mean that. You taking out the wrong way. No, this is on you. You too old for that now. And we take on their opinions on what we feel, and we embody those in ourselves. And what does it do? It rips you up as you get older. This is why sometimes when you find a person you can talk to, you might just start crying. Have you guys ever done that? Have you ever just, you finally get somebody who got an ear and who has the heart and the capacity to just hear you. And it felt so refreshing for someone to just get you without trying to change how you feel, without trying to re-narrate it, without trying to tell you how what you felt was different. It just feels good to be heard. Dang it, it feels good. Somebody finally get me. I don't have to feel ashamed that I'm hurt by what somebody did to me. If you guys can admit it, I'll admit it myself. It feels good when I can be honest and I can open up and I can say this happened to me and get it off my chest without somebody telling me, well, look at it this way. Maybe they didn't mean it. Maybe they did. Maybe they meant to hurt me. Maybe they regret hurting me now, but back then maybe they actually did. And we have to get out of this. We have to get out of this mode where we're trying to re-narrate somebody else's story just because we think we got some insight into that. Stuff hurts. That makes sense? Stuff hurts. And trying to rush people to get through it because we don't want to, we don't want to deal with it. It's not a way to get over stuff. And a lot of us, we've carried pain, we've carried baggage. And I'm telling you, going into this new year, it's important for me to communicate this message that I need you to love yourself enough to let that stuff go. When I say let it go, let me tell you what I don't mean. I don't mean just forget about it and pretend that it never happened. But I am saying that just like you have to go throughout your house and collect trash, put that in a trash bag, take it out to the trash can, take the trash can to the curb. I'm saying that letting go is a process, but you have to be of the mindset that you're going to collect. I'm going to address everything in my heart, everything in my mind that's weighing me down. All this hostility. Let me tell you how deep this has to be. Your growth and you moving forward in your life has to be so strong that you are willing to forgive so you can move forward. If you still have the anger to people for what they did to you, it's going to prevent you from truly growing. You're going to do good in life. You're going to make money. You're going to be successful. You're going to build your network. But you as an individual, you don't really move forward until you can forgive. Now, it doesn't mean that you're going to have to accept back the people back who did that. I'm not saying that. But I mean, forgive and move past it in your heart, to collect that, to let yourself fully feel what happened to you, and to just remind yourself that you survived it. That what was supposed to break you, you survived that. That what was supposed to completely make you go crazy, you survived that. And because you survived that, you've got to use that as a tool to not only move forward in your life, but to inspire those around you as well. You have to give yourself this gift. In 2023, I don't want you to waste another year. You can't find love, and you can't have a good marriage, and you can't have a good family because of something that happened early on. It is time for you to enjoy all that life has to offer you. And this is going to require that you collect the trash, to take that out and to let that stuff go. Okay, I think I've said enough, guys. A very short stream. What do you guys think about what I said? How many of you can honestly admit that maybe where you are now is not necessarily your fault? May not be your fault. There's a scripture in now I don't want to get too preachy, but there's a story in the Old Testament about this young child during a time of war. Mother picks him up, or one of the people taking care of the kid picks him up to run and to run to safety. And during the process of running to safety, this kid Mephibosheth is dropped, and as a result of being dropped, he becomes a cripple. He's just a kid. He's not in control of the situation. He can't move for himself, can't think for himself. He needs to be protected. And the people that were supposed to be protecting him, in the process of running to safety, ends up dropping him, and he becomes crippled. It wasn't his fault. And I think that's how some of us are. Some things that happened to you were not your fault. But here's the difference. That just because it wasn't your fault for what happened, it is now your responsibility to transform into what you want to be. It's on you, albeit difficult, albeit challenging. It might not have been your fault, but it is your responsibility to heal. You understand? That makes sense? This is not to say you give people a pass for what they did to you. But what are you going to do? Are you going to stay in a place where you are constricted and you are immobile, or are you going to use what you went through to become a better you? Look, the truth is, a lot of us been dropped. Can I just say this? A lot of us have been dropped. You might see people online looking good, got stuff, got it going on, but most people have been dropped in an area of their life, and it wasn't their fault. And when you hear people talking about their experiences, they're not blaming, they're talking and giving people some context into why they are them. We've all been dropped in an area. Now, you may not be a cripple in terms of your physical self, but some of us are crippled in terms of our emotional self. You don't know how to connect with people. Some of us are crippled in terms of our ability to relate to others, how to get along, how to love. The place where you're dropped is the place where it's hard for you to move. But just because it's difficult doesn't mean that you get to remove yourself from taking responsibility from learning that skill. Some of you have been crippled in terms of becoming a wife, because the example you saw early, she dropped the ball. Well, that does not mean that if you want to be a wife, you get to absolve yourself of taking accountability. You have to do the work and unlearn some things to relearn the things you need to know to become that great wife. And it's the same thing with husbands as well. We don't get to blame anyone. We get a chance to be honest about what occurred, but ultimately the responsibility of change is on you. And I believe that if you're willing to make the change and put in the effort, your life can be whatever you want it to be. And that's what I want for you in 2023. I want you to have the marriage you want to have, the family you want to have. I want you to be the best spouse to the person you're with. I want you to be an awesome wife to your husband. I want you to be an awesome husband to your wife, awesome parents to those kids, productive, successful. That's what I want for you. And it's going to start with you taking full responsibility for where you are now and doing the work it takes to get where you want to be. All right. All right, guys, I think I've shared enough with you tonight. Let me do this. Let me open up the calls and see if anybody wants to add to what I've talked about tonight. You guys let me know if this resonated at all, if this made any sense what I'm talking about, and if you guys can relate to this. If so, you guys call that link in, and let's see what happens. I haven't got any super chats, but you guys throw a dollar on it, throw something on there, and I'm gonna play this song really quickly, and then we'll be right back in about 60 seconds. Okay, guys, we are back. I hope that you guys enjoyed tonight's stream. If you are on here, parents who may watch this on the replay, if you are an older parent and you have older children, it is important. Your words and your message and your example means so much to your kids. So if you have an opportunity to invest into them and to give them, if you made mistakes and you know that they saw those mistakes, parents, correct those with your sons and with your daughters. They need it more than even they know. Go get it right with them. And sons and daughters who are trying to recover from what you saw, allow yourself the space to heal. And don't make the person you prayed for pay for and inflict pain for something that they didn't cause you. We're going to have to work on building our marriages. The truth is, we were waiting for, our aunties and uncles to fix stuff. It's on you and I to fix it. We can't wait for the next generation to save our communities. It's going to start with you. It's going to start with me. It's going to start with you being a great husband, with you being a great wife, with us building great children. Is going to start, and this is not going to start in 2023. We got to start today. Start unpacking today. If this means getting into therapy, and not only get into therapy, but fixing stuff in your life with people, you got to do what it takes, because we got to make a change. We got to make that change, and we got to do that together. All right, everybody. Well, I love you. I appreciate you. Thank you so much to the one and the only Take Heed. She says, my husband helped me heal from my childhood and my past. I went through a lot of nonsense growing up. God, I thank you for a great man. This is stuff that I love to hear. Shout out to your husband. Please send love from the Sir Hale Speaks Network. We love hearing things just like this. And to everybody on here, let's heal so we can thrive in 2023. All right? I love everybody. Until next time, it's been real. Sir Hale Speaks is out the building. We'll catch you guys again very soon. Peace.
Let it go. 얼어붙어 like whoa. 띵하고 어지러워. I see. 한여름에도 넌 겨울. Yeah, girl, cold blood. Yeah, 너와 있을 때 I swear. 제가 원더 zero. 폭설한 그 childer. 꿈에도 I wasn't aware. 나만 빼고 넌 모두에게 참 친절해. 배신감이 들어 단판이 태도 머릿속을 흔드니 ibuprofen 그만해 it's time to stop 승부욕을 자극하는 style yeah. 알면서도 마음이 자꾸 느낄까 아마 빠져버릴까 If you want me back I'll tell you I'm sorry If you want me back I'll tell you stop trying Yeah, you got me Let it go 얼어붙어 like whoa 띵하고 어지러워 I see 한여름에도 넌 겨울 Yeah, girl you cold-blooded Yeah, girl you cold-blooded Yeah Girl you cold-blooded Girl you cold-blooded I'm like frozen 뭐야 모든 stress은 gotta let it go 했어 속였던 dating 어플 다 깔아 또 보았어 반대가 끌린대 ever since the track Don't know about me and you, yeah we fell into the cracks Yeah 깎고 너네 no cap 왜 난 안 보여 what's happening 객관적일 수가 없이 이미 game white flag and waving fast Yeah I'm leaving back but 말은 don't 너만 보면 나도 내 맘 I don't know 이건 love a relationship 헷갈리기만 해 girl I'll tell you I'm sorry If you want me back I'll tell you stop trying Yeah, you got me Let it go 얼어붙어 like whoa 띵하고 어지러워 I see 한여름에도 넌 겨울 Girl you cold-blooded Let it go 얼어붙어 like whoa 띵하고 어지러워 I see 한여름에도 넌 겨울 Girl you cold-blooded Yeah, girl you cold-blooded Girl you cold-blooded Girl you cold-blooded Yeah, girl you cold-blooded Yeah Girl you cold-blooded cold-blooded.